This, our country and all its people, could be in danger.
This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by
LCL Report, LCLReport.com. More fallout from that controversial, secretive ban on firearms in the New Hampshire State House. One of the senators who voted in favor of the ban in this small committee was Maggie Hassan, and she writes the following in response to a concerned citizen. Quote, "Thanks for writing. Last March, at least 15 armed individuals came to the State House and stood in the House gallery watching a vote on a bill they told us they cared about. When the vote didn't go their way, they yelled threats at the legislators who sat below them. Fourth graders were in the gallery as well, and on the other side of the chamber wall, in the Senate, third graders were participating in a reading program called Read Across America. Several legislators approached leadership in both chambers, saying they felt intimidated by the situation and worried for the children who could have been harmed had a confrontation involving guns broken out that day." Unquote. Later on, Hassan says, in the same email, quote, "From 1996 to 2006, there was a State House rule that prohibited guns in the State House complex, which was commonly interpreted to mean the State House itself and the Legislative Office Building. The legislature, through the Joint Committee on Facilities, has the power to set rules of civility for its own building. These rules do not have the force of law. It just gives our security officers the right to ask people to leave if they violate the rules. Violation of the rules cannot be a reason for criminal or civil prosecution, which is one of the things that distinguishes our action today from the passage of the bill you refer to in your email. Someone who arrives at the State House not knowing we have a rule banning guns won't be subject to prosecution for anything. They'll just be asked to leave. If they refuse, then our security will call law enforcement, who can require the person to leave. We took our action today because a number of legislators who work in the building and feel intimidated when folks come in here with guns asked us to. The building is a workplace, it is an educational place, and it is sometimes a place of high emotion. Guns here are inappropriate. Texas, Wyoming, and most other states that only minimally regulate guns ban them in state buildings. In fact, we are only one of 4 that doesn't have such a ban." Unquote. Now, it's great that Hassan is responding quickly to her emails. However, at this point it seems a bit like spitting in the wind. If the comment sections on unionleader.com and NashuaTelegraph.com are any indication, New Hampshireites are up in arms about the ban. Roughly 15 hours after the first articles appeared, comments are running 4-1 against the ban on unionleader.com and 1.6-1 on NashuaTelegraph.com. Both sites are seeing heavy traffic on this issue, with 65 comments already posted in the first 15 hours on unionleader.com. That's an unusually high number. Another senator who voted in favor of the ban is Lou D'Alessandro.
I did.
Will you not vote for an income tax?
I won't vote for an income tax.
All right, thank you. And here is his response. Quote, "Sir, there are many places you cannot visit with a firearm. If you had business with a member of our congressional delegation, you could not walk into the U.S. Capitol or any federal legislative office building with a firearm. The action taken by the Legislative Facilities Committee yesterday returns us to a policy that had previously been in place for over a 10-year period. This policy is similar to those in almost every other state in the Union. There is no abrogation of your Second Amendment rights. Happy holidays, Lou D'Alessandro." Unquote. Wow, and here I thought New Hampshireites didn't want to be like all the other states in the Union. Also, with regard to all that yelling that happened in early 2009, This is the first time since that event that I've heard any allegation that there were threats made by the people in the building. One of the liberal legislators had complained around that time that he received threats over his vote on HCR 6, the sovereignty resolution, in early 2009. But this is the first I've heard of any kind of threats being made by people who were in the building during the vote. If in fact there were threats made, and of course there definitely were people yelling and angry, I think that there are some people who are really upset that the sovereignty people yelled. But this is just a reminder that when the good guys overstep their bounds, it triggers a backlash. That's true, but that backlash itself can be a constructive thing for liberty activists. It can be good when your enemies attack you, because this attack by the Democrats on gun rights is, of course, mobilizing people across the state in opposition to the state government. So for those who are overly worried that there was some uncivil behavior, that there was some yelling, I would say maybe that worry may be a little overblown. I have my own concerns, which I have expressed about anyone that might make threats, but again, this backlash is not something to be feared. It's something to probably be welcomed. The Democrats have just alienated and mobilized thousands of New Hampshire residents against them, who otherwise might not have been engaging in any liberty activity at all this week. If the past is any indication, they will simply lose their jobs for what they've done. And much as I might like D'Alessandro and Hassan personally, I'd like to see them out of office. These moves on their part may be the tickets to seeing that happen.
LCL Report, LCLReport.com.
Pro-freedom jewelry from my #1 student, Taryn Lupo at the Low Country Liberty Report. Just click on the jewelry link at
LCLReport.com.